Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, Derek, and I'm here with another gigantic update to RPCS3, the best PlayStation 3 emulator out there, and also kind of the only PlayStation 3 emulator out there. A little bit of a joke, but honestly, RPCS3 in 2026 is absolutely trying to speed run the development of a PlayStation 3 emulator, and the most recent update, all the GitHub notes on it and the commits are absolutely massive. This thing is probably the biggest update to RPCS3 in 2026, at least as far as line items and improvements are concerned. So I'm going to talk about the new version of the emulator, what it's improving, go over some of the footage, and basically try to convince you that it is time now to update RPCS3 one more time, because honestly it's incredibly easy. It's got an auto updater built into the actual application, so when you see that notification say it's time to update, you're definitely going to want to hit yes on this one. Before I get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. But honestly, RPCS3 never fails to impress me, and this update definitely has these same vibes going on. And when I say it's a metric crap ton of improvements, especially on the graphical back end, I 100% mean it here. Because if we go over the actual commits right now, you're going to see that this was done basically 18 hours ago, at least as of the recording of this video. And in the what's changed category, there's like over 200, I feel like, actual line items here on all the different improvements, code changes, and commits that have gone into this most recent build. So this is absolutely a massive one, and I love that RPCS3 also puts out videos for their big releases showing the graphical updates in each individual game, because honestly sometimes when you go through these notes you're not sure what games are actually fixed, but RPCS3 will actually produce videos showing you some of the highlights, which definitely makes researching all the updates a little bit easier, especially for somebody like me. And if you're wondering why we're watching Uncharted footage here, there's been some graphical improvements to it as well, and honestly compared to the last time I kind of tested this one out, I would say that performance is definitely a lot better. It's running at its preferred frame rate, everything seems to be working totally fine. Every once in a while you get a flash in a model, but otherwise if I just took a screenshot of this and you didn't see the shader compiling icon in the bottom left hand corner, you would be hard pressed to think it wasn't running on something like just PlayStation 3 hardware, and those explosions definitely an area that used to like to lag the game out. Now, like any sort of emulator that's in active development, I always recommend, if you do want to start testing out and playing a game, go to the wiki and check to see if it's actually running well enough for you to enjoy it, because sometimes games will seem perfect and they'll even be better than PlayStation 3 hardware. Other times the game will barely boot and run at a frame rate that you definitely wouldn't call playable. And that isn't a knock on the RPCS3 emulator or the team. The reality is this is still in active development, so of course there's going to be games that seem perfect, there's going to be games that don't run whatsoever, so definitely do your due diligence before you go out there and spend time trying to find a game you want to emulate. You'll see here in Uncharted, a lot of the off-screen vertexes have been fixed, basically the polygons stretching out into infinity when something was clipping through a wall. But let's move over to some Sonic Racing, because you know full well if there's a Sonic game in the mix, I'm going to want to cover it. And honestly, this one, absolutely a 10 out of 10. I had so much fun with it when it launched on PlayStation 3, playing with my wife and our friends, basically having game nights. And this is another one that had graphical glitches in the last version of RPCS3, and basically every version from there. And it was all in the skybox, and it's just not rendering correctly whatsoever. Now, as of this version of RPCS3, that's going to be 100% cleaned up, and this is a game that I played a bunch, and honestly, so long as you have a powerful enough rig to run it at full speed, you should get a consistent frame rate. But I don't want you to think that there's any one game on RPCS3 that is 100% perfect. Sure, some are going to seem it, but there's always going to be a stray pixel here and there that if you look hard enough for, you are going to find it. And again, RPCS3 absolutely impresses the ever-loving hell out of me, because the PlayStation 3 architecture, not an easy thing to deal with whatsoever. Honestly, it was to Sony's detriment that they designed the console with so much complexity in the silicon, but you can basically get like 99.9% of the way there, and you'll see here in RPCS3's footage, and I did leave a link in the description below to their full video so you can watch all of it. All of the skyboxes are now rendering correctly, and that's just going to be that much better. It's also going to be our first soundtrack sample, so go ahead and listen for 45 seconds, but come back, I'll go over more of the improvements and why you definitely want to update your emulator today.
Fireworks! Hot rod!
Groovy.
I mean, it sounds good to me, but you leave me a comment down below and you tell me what you think. And don't forget, if you missed the previous videos, there are a bunch of improvements on the SPU, making it run faster and more efficiently on lower end systems. You also have ISO loading now that didn't used to work as far as that's concerned. So there's been a lot of cumulative updates. So if it's been a couple months since you've updated RPCS3, this new build is going to give you so many different fixes, improvements, and quality of life improvements around all of the edges. And honestly, it even has improvements for Deadly Premonition, and even though the Xbox 360 version of the game would be my preferred way to play it, and if you never played it before, I might recommend you play it on original hardware, but it is one of those games. I absolutely love it. It is one of the weirdest, most vibey games, and it's about as close to Twin Peaks the video game as you're ever going to get. And because this was in the update list as well with improved graphics, even though there were some other games that would be more popular in footage, I had to talk about it just because, one, graphical improvements are always going to benefit everyone, and two, I can try to convince at least a few more people to actually play Deadly Premonition, because this game is just straight up, if you're into its vibes, one of the best video games ever made, at least on a narrative and storyline basis. Yes, the performance can be a little janky, and some of the gameplay elements feel like they're more PlayStation 2 generation than PlayStation 3, but trust me, if you hang with Deadly Premonition, you're going to find so much to love here. It's just one of those games that absolutely makes you want to know what happens next, and there is a sequel, Deadly Premonition 2, maybe not quite as good as the first game, but still absolutely a vibey banger, and that's just something that I absolutely love in gaming. And you will see here it's got a lot of improvements around the shadows. First we're showing you Tomb Raider, and then we're showing you something like Deadly Premonition, because a lot of the shadows, a lot of the lighting and texturing in this new build of RPCS3 has been improved a lot around the edges, and stuff like those shadows, it might not break the illusion of having fun, but it's definitely something you're going to notice. Where you'll see here the shadows might seem 100% perfect, and that's because they are very close to it, and this game definitely has a little bit of weirdness in the graphics even on real hardware, so it's kind of hard to say sometimes where RPCS3 is having an issue and where Deadly Premonition is just doing its Deadly Premonition stuff. This game definitely has a lot of jank around the edges as far as actually interacting with it is concerned, but it is just one of those games. It is so unique, it is so different that you absolutely have to play it. If you've heard that the game isn't very good, just trust me, give it a shot, emulate it in RPCS3, you will have a fun time, or I will give you your money back. And since no money changes hands, that is basically an empty promise, but honestly all you have to lose is time, and all you have to gain is one of the weirdest experiences in gaming, now with a lot better performance on RPCS3. That's basically a win for everybody. Now additionally, some of the reflections have been improved in Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, but I will say this is a game, every single time I try to run it, I could never actually get a consistent frame rate out of it. And it's one of those things, I could have picked footage that ran better, but I want to just basically drive home that point that not every single game at RPCS3 is going to perform exactly as you would expect it to. And now that basically RPCS3 will set all of the different granular settings based upon community guidelines when you load up a game, I don't know if there really is a way right now to get this running at full speed, but if you know of a way, leave me a comment down below. And you will see here it does have better reflections. We're going into our second soundtrack sample, Uncharted, not Need for Speed because it's licensed, and I'll be right back with just a little bit more news.
Sully, where are you?
I mean, honestly, RPCS3 always impresses me, and even though I focused a lot on the visuals for this new version, that's because I can actually show them to you and not explain them to you. There are a ton of other updates to stability and performance as well, so you might get a game running faster that used to run slower if you have like a medium test PC, or games that crash, maybe you'll get past that crash point. It's not like I can test every single game on the PlayStation 3 library because there are a ton. And honestly, when games run well, you can make them perform and look better than even PlayStation 3 hardware could, getting to the point where some games will kind of look and feel like a day one PlayStation 4 title, and that's always amazing. And I love the fact that the RPCS3 team continues to update this thing so quickly in 2026. So definitely, if you haven't updated in a while, update today or next time you use it, because I know some people don't like updating every single build, and I totally get that. When you're playing a game and it's stable, maybe you want to wait, but this one is absolutely a massive update. And if you need an RPCS3 guide or an RPCS3 tutorial, check my Emulation Night School playlist, because I should have one in there as well, and it should still be pretty consistent outside of the fact that you no longer have to go to the wiki and check settings. They should just be applied for you when you load up the game. But the RPCS3 team is absolutely dominating 2026 when it comes to PlayStation 3 emulation, and I can't wait to see what the back half of the year has to offer. But short of that, hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.